All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank everybody for coming today. I really appreciate everybody committing to this and spending your time here today. It really means a lot to me for you to show up. I really appreciate everybody. The theme of the talk today is to keep it moving, so I'm going to get right into it and I'm going to keep this on point. I want to tell you a little backstory about myself just because I need you to understand how we got to this point that we're at today. It's important for you to understand where I came from so you know that I put in the work to get here to be here today. And the thing is that I should not even be here today. If it wasn't for a sequence of events over the last decade, my life would have ended in a totally different solar system. And to tell this story, we have to go all the way back to 2014, a small town in northern Minnesota called Crosby. I had taken a job at a small hospital. We moved my whole family up there during one of the coldest winters I think they ever had in 20 years. To give you a little perspective, it wasn't above 32 below zero for like 40 days, and my kids never missed school one time. So, while working up there, we had the dream. We wanted to start traveling the United States. And we had the chance to take one of our first vacations. We went to an Airbnb in Colorado. And that was that trip that would start a journey that I would end up taking my family through almost every state in this country. See, after that contract ended, we sold our home and we basically moved into an RV. Week after we moved into the RV, the wall came apart. Very shortly after that, we almost got wiped out by a tornado in it. Did not realize how expensive it was going to be to try to live in this thing and try to get somewhere in it. So eventually we'd end up in my mom's driveway for the summer, and I was watching a show called Chipping Wars. I remember like it was yesterday when I looked at my wife Margot and I said, "We could do this. Let's get a U-Haul trailer and let's book a job." And that's exactly what we did. We took a car from Wisconsin to Estes Park, Colorado, with my Honda Pilot, which had quarter of a million miles on it, was not designed to haul a car. It was in that parking lot in Estes Park. I had $0 to my name, all my family with me, and I said, "What are we going to do next? Where do we go from here?" The only money that we had to our name was the money from that job from delivering the car, and it was not enough money. My wife Margot quickly pivoted and found us another job hauling a young couple back to Michigan and a washer and dryer to Massachusetts. This single thing would start a business that would take us to 48 states. We'd end up acquiring 3 trucks, 3 trailers. My kids would end up seeing most of the United States, probably some to their dismay. Our total revenue ended up being over $300,000 during the course of that business. During the course of that, I was driving through a little town called Fort Wayne, past a little business called Sweetwater. I told my wife one day, I said, "I'm going to work there." She looked at me, she said, "What is Sweetwater?" "I have no idea," I told her. Little did I know that that single change 6 years ago was going to take me from where I was to where I am today. And I moved into this town. I lived in a basement on Sherwood Dependent. And I struggled to make $500 a week in sales at Sweetwater. Shortly after that, I was able to get back in the IT business and be able to get back on my feet. So much so we were going to buy our first home using traditional financing. We are going to close on Monday morning. And you see, we didn't close on that house because Friday I lost my job due to the pandemic. So I took this pretty hard. I gained 100 pounds. Just picture me, 357 pounds I was. I ate and I laid in bed. I was pretty depressed. I started back at zero. We were lucky. I had money in the bank, a little bit of a safety net. We got an RV that we were able to stay in for a while to kind of get us by. And eventually that would allow us to start an IT business. So that IT business started it was M6 Networks. It was me out pulling cables. Eventually Margot would join me as a server from Cracker Barrel with no formal education. She now does more in a day than I make as a 2-degree holding college graduate. But that business, which has done almost $300,000 in the last couple of years, we also sold over almost $100,000 worth of musical instruments in the form of ukuleles during the pandemic. And so it's these things are all crazy, but this is where it really gets interesting. Because during a family vacation to Florida, we wanted to rent an RV. It was so expensive to stay in a motel, $500 a night. We found a website and said, hey, I think we could actually do this. So we got back from our vacation to Florida. We went out and bought an RV and we started an RV rental business. We'd ended up doing almost $100,000 in our RV rental business. The thing about it is during that process, we would eventually be able to be requalified to get a house. It wasn't a nice house, $100,000, but it was somebody that said something to me that would change everything. In a basement in a house in Ossian, a real estate agent said you need to refinance your business debt, get in your business, go to BIPIS, talk to my guy, Adam. He'll take care of you. It was after that we went from buying a house that was $120,000 that needed to be jacked up off the sill plate. The place was filled with asbestos. It was not a nice house. It was definitely the quintessential fixer-upper to buying a brand new home just over 2 years ago. From that moment, we would eventually meet a couple who was involved in the real estate industry at the time. We'd rent our RV to them, telling the story of how things had went for us. And when we were trying to buy our first house, they said, come with us and let us help you. Come join our brokerage. And so this was the start of how we got to a small brokerage called ADT. And it was at ADT where we really, things changed. Up until this point, I had been successful in other businesses, but I did not really understand what success was. And so our mentor started teaching us, with 37 years of experience in the business, how to do things the right way. So we go on to sell 40 homes our first year in real estate, which is incredible. My wife got her license, I got my license, but it was due to that RV rental business that we would eventually make the next pivot. And that was due to a friend of mine, great coach, Austin Chevron. One day he looked at me and said, who owns your business? Is it you or is it somebody else? And so after that moment, I realized we were not in control. We were not in the driver's seat of our own business. And so we decided to make a really difficult decision and move to EXP. I left my mentor behind and kind of went on our own. Today, it's about 5 months since that transition's happened. We're currently building a national real estate team. We're currently coaching other agents. We're currently bringing all of our 20 plus years of IT experience to the real estate business. We have multiple different forms of online business presence and different marketing that we're doing right now. And we ended our first year in real estate just shy of $100,000 in commissions, mainly working off of internet leads. And so that pretty much brings us up where we are till today. And I want to give you this context just to know where we've been in the past and how we got here, because I used to think that those accomplishments were pretty spectacular. I'd tell people my story and they would encourage me and say, wow, you're amazing, which would give me a confidence boost. But in hindsight, as I continued to grow, I realized there are so many things that I didn't know. And that is the reason why I invited you to here today. And so I want to share with you a few things that I think will be helpful for you in your life. There's a lot of struggles going on right now, and a lot of people, they don't realize life is a series of problems. How you respond to those problems is how that dictates quality of your whole life and how far you will get ahead in the game. And so one of the things that I can give you as a tool set is, how do I solve a problem? The first thing you have to ask yourself is, what could I do? This is the quintessential first step in solving most of your problems. is looking at yourself. A lot of people talk about politics, division, the country, but we don't look internally to ourselves and be honest with ourselves of what we actually can control. The second part about this is, what could I read? There are so many resources available to people. Ignorance is no excuse in our world. We have Google. Okay. Not only do we have that, but the last third one is, who could I ask? There are experts in every single field in this world. You can go ask them. They might say no, but you ask 10 of them, one of them might say yes. Okay. A lot of times people love to share. You just have to ask. And so once you become a problem solver, your value becomes indestructible. It's permanent. My rate is always my rate. I don't deviate from my rate because I know my value. It's permanent. Okay. That mixed with another superpower, which is I demand way more of myself than anybody can ever dream up. In the last 20 years, I've provided the bulk of my own employment, but I've used a loose set of guidelines to get to where I am today. And I'm really proud of myself to be where I am today. A lot of ways, I'm not thankful though for what I had. And I've heard this saying, I used to complain about not having two shoes until I met a man with no feet. Well, wait until you meet a man with no arms and no legs. And he's surpassed you in every single way. He's taken his family on 5 months vacations. He's got multi-million-dollar real estate portfolios. He's given money to his church. What excuse do you have? You see, the way that you get to a better future is through you. You. It's not somebody else. It's not an external factor. You need to be eager to learn. You need to be eager to try things and fail, because you will fail. I fail all the time. It's the try that gets you to where you need to be. And so the next bit I'd offer you is be prepared. Be prepared like a Boy Scout for everything that you do. Study and be passionate for what you're doing. If you don't have passion, it's not going to work. And at the last, is to try to be pleasant. And I might need some help here, but this is all going to your mindset. And everybody talks about mindset, it's a common word, but I try to eliminate scarcity mindset. That's one of the things that I was born with. And to live a life that's empowered, I know that somebody can only reach their full potential if they live an empowered life. So how do we do that? We need coaches and mentors. Name one great person that doesn't have a coach. I'll wait. There isn't one great person. They don't exist. And there's opportunities for us to improve every day in our life. We just need to focus on the areas and seek guidance on those areas. Ask for it. Seek understanding. And try to get from where you are today to where you want to be by learning from somebody else. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It took me a lot of time and money being committed to get to the next level in my life. But now I can clearly see what I thought was a failure. I thought that everything was a failure that I did. But in the middle, it does look that way. No one ever dreams of the pain. No one knows what it's going to be like to endure what we're going to have to do to get to where we want to be. You just don't have a clue. John Maxwell said to me last week, everybody comes up to you and says, I want to do what you do, but nobody wants to do the do to get the did, right? And so if you want to see what this looks like, if you got a truck, go out there in the middle of the night and go sleep in that truck in the back seat one night and tell me how it goes. Are you going to be willing to endure, to grow. And so it's that ability to endure that will be proportional to your level of success that you're going to have. No one cares as much as you do. You need to be not afraid to fail. You need to not worry about what anybody else thinks. And the reality is most of those people already lost because they didn't even try. The failure stepping stone is one that you start going down, and as soon as you're down it, it's the way to the best life. So I would say to you that when you realize this, then we can come to the last phase, and that is your ability to start leading other people. Because the cliche is true, money doesn't buy happiness. What I've learned is helping people is the key to happiness, helping other people, enriching their lives. Win lose mentality as a mindset is no good. It's a loser mindset. Being able to help people no matter what, that's the superpower. And I realize that the only people in this world that are really truly happy are the people that have the freedom of time so that they can go out and empower the leaders of tomorrow to make a change. And only people that are secure with themselves can make this change. And so today I would encourage everybody that's came, and really appreciate everybody for coming, to consider the changes that you can be making in your life today. And we need to do that now. And every day you need to wake up and tell yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. Keep it moving. Do it now. And do not be casual, because casualness brings casualties. So I'm going to close with that. I hope today has helped somebody. I hope what I've said has given you maybe some insight to get to where you want to be. And if you want to make the next steps, come see me. I have a ton of resources that are available to people. I have coaches, mentors, psychological support, accounting, financial, whatever you need, I have resources. And I'd love to share them with you. So please come see me after this. Make it a great day, and thank you so much.